Let's come onto our mat, hands and knees. We'll come into a child's pose to begin the practice. Knees out a little wider, big toes together to touch. This will give us some space to move back into our seat toward our heels, to lengthen our lower back. Reach your arms out in front of you. Create a little bit more lowering of your seat, your forehead. Perhaps you're folding your arms in and resting your forehead on your forearms. Begin to deepen and smooth out your breath, looking for the spaces that move as you breathe. Finding the space expanding through the rib cage on the inhale. Finding the belly pulling in toward the spine on the exhale. We'll practice one-pointed concentration on our breath. Letting this be a movement meditation. Keep coming back to your breath. Okay, we'll come out of our child's pose now. If you need to reach your arms out in front of you, do so. Bring your weight onto your hands and come up to hands and knees. Take a moment to position your hips directly over your knees and then walk your hands further forward to the front short edge of your mat as we come into puppy dog, lowering our chest, our forehead, closer to the mat, maybe folding the arms in once more. Specifically, we're looking for the stretch in the upper back, along the shoulders and arms. Keep your hips stacked over your knees. If you need a little bit more of a stretch, take the arms out in front of you rather than folding them in, but slide the hands in slightly closer if it feels like it's too much. Last couple breaths here. And to come out of puppy, look forward. Bring your weight onto the hands and lower your elbows if they're not already. Forearms on the mat so that we can walk our knees back behind the hips and come down to the belly. Reach out through your toes and then just look forward. Your hands are planted firmly in Sphinx pose. Maybe you're sliding your elbows in a little closer and imagine you're dragging your palms in closer as well. Your hands, your elbows feel as though they're pulling back towards your hips. Reach forward through your chest, your sternum, but keep your gaze down. Maybe your hands walk out a little wider. Last couple breaths here. Breathe into your lower back. Smooth and even. And then the elbows come out wider to come out of that. Reach your arms in front of you as though you're aligning them with your ears. Keeping the back of the neck long and neutral. You're gazing down to the front of the mat. And then lift on the next inhale, arms and legs. Exhale, pull the elbows back towards your hips, bending at the elbows like a cactus. Do it again. Inhale, reach through the arms, the legs, balancing on your belly. Keep the reach of your legs, your thighs as you pull the elbows back. Move with breath. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to contract. Next, inhale, hover the palms, lift a little higher, and then exhale, lower both palms and your legs. We'll move into cobra. Press into the hands, lift the chest, keep those elbows hugging in near the sides of your rib cage, and then come all the way back down. You can slide your hands closer to the rib cage, tuck the toes under, come up through hands and knees on the in-breath. Exhale here into a more active child's pose, your seat towards your heels, keeping your toes tucked under. Press strongly into the hands, feel the reach of the soles of the feet. Now maybe you're adjusting your hands shoulder width apart. Palms are flat, especially the inner edges of the palms. And we're going to come up into our first downward dog. Inhale and exhale. Now lift your knees, your seat, head towards the mat. Now feel free to adjust your position of your feet, the placement of your hands. Keep your gaze back toward your toes and then bend one knee at a time. Walk your dog. You're looking for length in the spine. Come back to your breath. Even as you bend one knee at a time, maybe even feel the reach through your toes. Notice your ears line up with the inner arms. Crown down, tail up, lengthening the spine. Now try bending both knees deeply. Take one more beautiful breath here. And then if you'd like, try this out. Walk your feet out a little wider towards the outer edges of the mat, and one hand at a time, walk your palms back towards your feet. Feet can come in a little closer, but take a peek while you're here, your knees pointing in the same direction as your toes. We're coming into a nice deep forward fold with the knees bent. Reach the arms around the back of the legs if you'd like. Let your head hang heavy. Back of the neck is long. Feeling the stretch in the entire spine. Feel free to plant the hands a little differently. Maybe you're grabbing hold of the elbows. Again, keep a bend in the knees to release the lower back, to lengthen the spine. Maybe gently sway from side to side or rock from heel to toe. Hands can reach around to the back of the shoulders. Take another beautiful breath here. Inhale and exhale. Feel the breath in your feet. Feel the breath in your belly. Okay, we're going to release the hands. Look forward to walk forward. Come all the way back along the length of your mat, this time into a full high plank. Position your shoulders directly over your wrist. Your hands are fully planted. Maybe lift one foot at a time, stacking your heels over the shelf of your toes. Now look forward. Get length through the spine, crown away from your heels, and then exhale, lower the knees, elbows hug in, come all the way down to the belly. Unhook your toes, reach your palms down, take another breath here. Inhale to cobra, exhale to lower. Tuck toes, take an inhale, come back up right away. Either child's pose or downward facing dog. Stay here. Return to the smooth evenness of your breath. Maybe in stillness, maybe in movement. If you'd like to, you can bend the knees and pivot the heels to the right. Keep those knees deeply bent. Come back through center with heels, knees deeply bent, maybe opposite direction, pivot to the left. Little bounce in the knees, find new spaces to breathe into. All right, come back through center with the heels. We're going to gently lower the knees back down to the mat. Now you can use blocks beneath the hands or come up onto the fingertips. And then we're just going to slide our right foot forward. Organize the position of the foot, knee over heel. Hands can be on blocks or finger pads. Lift the back knee for a moment to get reach through the back thigh. And then re-lower the knee, maybe on a cushion, an extra cushion. You can take the side of the mat to cushion that knee. Unhook the toes. Hands can again be on blocks, maybe on a single block. Improvise if you don't have a block at home. And then feel the reach through your chest, the space around the heart. You're also feeling the breath in the back thigh. Remember, you're not directly on the kneecap, you're on the fleshy part right above it. Take a full breath here. Return to the length in the spine. And then come up one forearm at a time onto the front thigh. Palms are open. Feel the reach in the lower back, maybe the hips lift towards the heart space. Your crown is a little bit more skyward. Take another breath here. If you like, take your next inhale and lift your left arm along the left ear so that you're really feeling that stretch from the back thigh, hip, and shoulder. Front knee, take a peek, is still stacked over the front heel. All right, we're going to come down. Left palm comes all the way down to the mat, maybe on a block. Right hand, take it to the outer knee or thigh and use your hand on your leg to gently rotate your torso, especially through the shoulders. Back knee can stay on the mat, or tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. Twist, rotate through the shoulders if it feels comfortable. Maybe that right arm reaches toward the sky. Again, stack the shoulders. The hips stay relatively forward towards the front of the mat. If it feels interesting, find a rotation. Reach your right arm back for a moment. And then again, inhale skyward with that right arm. And maybe forward now. Exhale, we're going to take both hands back to the mat. All right, now you can come back through to child's pose or downward dog, or move with me. From this runner's lunge, front right foot now is going to reach through left palm, left foot, so that you're in a scissored downward dog. You can lower the knees here, or with the legs scissored, crisscross, take an inhale and wave forward so that your shoulders over your wrists like you're in a high plank. Stay here or rotate to the outer edges of the feet. You've switched hands now. Right hand stays on the mat, left lifts. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Imagine the back of the head lining up with the shoulder blades and the tailbone. Lengthen the spine. Last couple breaths here if you can stay. Maybe that left arm over the left ear. Again, return to the breath. Toes are soft. And then come out of the pose. Both hands, both feet are on the mat. Downward facing dog. You can walk it out. Maybe lower the knees to child's, or bend the knees. Inhale, look forward. And reach into a high plank. On the exhale, lower the knees. Come down to the belly, nice and smooth. Untuck the toes. Again, keep those elbows hugging in like the hood of a cobra. Come up for one breath. And lower. All right, guys, we'll come back up. Maybe pause in child's pose. Remember that this pose is a way to regain the strength of your breath. When you feel ready, come back to downward facing dog and maybe find a little bit of movement, bending one knee at a time. Keep your gaze towards your toes or your knees. We're into the other side. Lower the knees nice and gently. Again, maybe hands on blocks or spider fingers. And then left foot this time. Remember, take your time, as many steps as you need to come forward. But eventually you really want to make sure that the knee is over the heel, toes and the knee in the same direction. Lift the back right knee this time to get length in the thigh. And then re-lower the knee. Again, maybe you're using an extra cushion. Unhook the back toes. Feel the stride in the back thigh lengthen. Stay here. Hands are on the mat. Feel your heart forward. Feel the hip points lift toward the heart. When you're ready, come up with one forearm at a time. This gives you more reach in the spine, crown more skyward. Take a moment to notice there should be a reach through the sides of the body from the hip to the shoulder, no pinching in the base of the spine. You could always keep the hands on the block if you prefer to stay, or take your next inhale and reach right arm along right ear. So there's that line from the back, knee, hip, shoulder, and beyond. Breathe deeply. Notice the spaces that move as you breathe. We'll come back down with that right hand, and then we're going to come into our twist. Again, you can keep the back knee on the mat the whole time. Use your left hand. Press into the outer thigh and rotate. Again, it's more about the heart, the shoulders. If it feels interesting to lift the back knee, go ahead and try it out. Keep your weight steady on that front left foot, still making sure the knee stays over the heel. If you like, left arm can come up. Just feeling the stacking of the shoulders. Maybe you're even taking a peek at the hand. Maybe you're rotating the hand towards the back of the mat just to get a full circumference of that left shoulder. Inhale. And exhale, we'll bring that left hand back down. Okay, so back knee, if it was on the mat, still lift it back. Come back to your runner's lunge. Both hands are planted. Remember, you can step back to child's or downward dog. Or left foot threads between right palm, right foot. The legs are scissored. You can adjust the hands if you need to. Feel steady. Again, the modification is to lower the knees. You're still working upper body strength here. or wave forward and come into your plank. We've switched the placement now, the hand placement, so left hand stays planted. Remember, you're on the outer edges of the feet if you want to come into this side plank variation. Toes pull in toward the knees. Right arm reaches up, maybe even over towards the front short edge of your mat. Take another few breaths here if you can stay. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips. There should be a lift in the throat. All right, come down out of that look down first. Replant both hands and both feet. Walk out your dog. Stay or play. Bend the knees. Inhale. And exhale to pivot the heels from side to side. Or inhale to high plank. Exhale to lower knees. Hug those elbows in. That will protect your lower back and shoulders. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, come back. Tuck the toes. Inhale, lift back through. Remember, you can again choose your resting pose, either child's pose or downward facing dog. Either way, there's length in the spine and length in your breath. All right, guys, come down, lower the knees. So check it out. We want to make sure our right palm is right beneath the shoulder. Left leg lengthens to the back of the mat. Now go ahead and rotate to the side. Your right foot, right shin bone comes out to the side, and you're on the pinky toe side of that left leg. Side plank variation here. Reach the left arm up and maybe over. Stacking shoulders, stacking hips. So bottom right knee stays on the mat. Feel the lateral stretch here from the left outer foot all the way through the left side of the body as you reach through the left arm. Perhaps you're even lifting that left leg for a couple breaths. Imagine you're pressing the foot into the wall behind you. Pull the toes in toward the knee. Make sure you keep the heel in line with the knee, the hip. All right, we're going to come all the way down. And then, guys, we're finding a little bit more reach to that leg. Come up vertically through the spine, both arms. Inhale, and then exhale, left arm along the left thigh. Inhale, right arm along the ear. Exhale, pull right arm overhead. You can take the left hand along the outer right side of the body. We've switched the lateral stretch now to the right side. Just take that top arm over, bending at the elbow. Take another breath here. Inhale, move with the breath, guys. Come out of that nice and slowly with both hands. Right shin bone back on the mat, and then listen up. Left leg travels out to the side like a kickstand. Pinky toe edge of the foot plants. Right arm, reach it through so that you're bringing your right ear, right shoulder onto the mat. Take your time to get here. Maybe you're really wiggling your right ear onto the mat, pulling the shoulder gently away. Left arm can reach to the front short edge of the mat. And take a moment to feel the stability in the lower back. You've got length in the spine. If you want to, left arm can reach up, spin the palm away safely first. Maybe reach around to your lower back, the outer hip, or the inner right thigh. You're adding the left shoulder into the conversation now as you reach that left arm around. Take another breath here. Again, find the space between the rib cage, expanding. Pull the belly in on the exhale. All right, come out of that slowly. Move out of that the way you went into it. Left arm reaches forward. Slide it back. Use both palms now to come back to hands and knees. Stack the shoulders over the palms. Hips over the knees. Take an inhale, look forward. Exhale, look back. So we'll do that again. As we inhale, drop your belly. Feel your heart forward through the reach of the arms. Exhale, look back toward the gate of your knees and round the spine. So inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, like a Halloween scaredy cat, round the spine. All right, come back to neutral. We'll do the other side. Left shoulder over left wrist. Right leg reaches out to the side. We'll take the left shin bone out to the side as well. We're on the pinky toe edge of that back right foot. We're stacking the shoulders. Take a moment to adjust, organize if you need to. Stack the hips. Rotate your torso, rotate your belly to the side of the room. And keep reaching into that gravitational line of your extended right foot. Inhale this time, reach up through right arm, maybe even over the right ear. Stay on the exhale, pull the belly in. Again, the shoulders are stacked, the hips are stacked, you're turning out to the side of the mat. If you feel steady, feel free to lift that right leg. Again, press the foot as though you're pressing it into a wall, keeping the foot active. Maybe the heel lines up with the knee, the hip. Find what works for you. One more breath here. And then go ahead and reach that foot down, maybe out a little further. Inhale, come all the way up with the torso, the arms. Exhale, lower right hand along the thigh or knee. Now take a moment. Inhale, reach from the hip to the shoulder beyond, the left arm along the left ear. And then when you're ready, you can exhale and dip. Maybe that opposite hand reaches around to feel the stretch from the hip to the shoulder of that left side of your body. Another breath here. Maybe you're looking up. Keep a bend in that top arm. Moving with the breath nice and fluidly. Inhale and exhale back with both palms onto the mat. Come back with that left shin bone, toes towards the back of the mat. And then remember, right leg kicks out like a kickstand, planting onto the outer edge of the foot. This time, opposite hand of foot, left hand reaches through so that we can bring our left ear, left shoulder onto the mat. Get a little bit more space along the left side of the neck. Pull the shoulder gently away. Right arm can walk forward if that feels interesting. Stay here. There should be no pinching in the lower back. Should feel beautiful breath along the spine, always looking for that beautiful breath. Maybe the right arm reaches up. Again, spin the palm to rotate the shoulders safely, and then find the placement that works for you. Is it the lower back, outer hip, or maybe even reaching around to the inner left thigh? Another breath here. Gently pull the right shoulder away from the right ear as well. When we come out of that nice and slowly, we'll take our right arm up and back. Find length. Then slide the palm towards you. Press into that right hand and come back to plant both palms. Come back to tabletop with both hands and knees. Again, inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Bovine on the inhale. Feline on the exhale. All right, tuck the toes under. Maybe the hands walk slightly forward, one palm print at a time, to get a little bit more distance between hands and knees as you come back to your downward facing dog. Walk your dog if you'd like. Bend to the knees. Maybe inhale to high plank. You can adjust the position of your heels. Your hands stay a little longer. Get length through the spine. This time, if you'd like to, keep the knees lifted as you exhale into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog, rolling over the toes. The thighs are lifted, chest forward. Exhale, flip one foot at a time and come back to downward facing dog. Walk your dog. Again, if you need to, if the breath feels forced or rushed, come down to your resting pose. Stay a little longer. Okay, guys, you can always lower both knees and slide that right foot forward into a runner's lunge. Maybe you step the feet a little closer. Inhale just the right leg so we can exhale, step it through to runner's lunge. However you get here, organize the knee over the heel. Back knee is lifted, back heel reaches. Inhale, runner's lunge. Then exhale, we're going to pivot that back foot so that we can maybe even step it in a little closer. Pinky toe edge is planted on the mat. Come up with your right forearm onto the right thigh. No pain in the low back. Take a moment to let the left hand rest there, and then rotate the torso. Keep reaching into that gravitational line of the back left foot. If you feel steady, left arm can reach up, maybe even over the left ear. Press firmly into your right forearm to rotate the torso to the side of the mat. Knee stays stacked over the front right heel. Breathe deeply here in your extended side angle pose. Maybe take a peek. Look down at the foot and then inhale, come up. We're rotating the arms back. Legs are long, reaching that top arm over the top head. if it feels interesting, rebend the knee. Left arm can reach around to feel that, this time right side body stretch, or reach the left arm around the back of the body. Rather than a back bend, this is a side body bend. All right, come back up. And then we're going to rotate back through with our right forearm back onto the thigh once more. Heel toe your back foot in. If you don't have a block, maybe improvise, something steady. We're going to bring our weight into our right front foot, but our right hand can also come onto the block. Now your practice today can just be playing, lifting the back left leg, solid on the right foot. Stack the shoulders and the hips, look to the side of the room. You can lift that left leg, the heel in line with the knee. Maybe it stays a little lower. Just play around, finding your center of gravity. If you feel steady, reach left arm up. Maybe you're even looking to the side of the room, although your gaze, you can keep your focus on the floor. Again, you're just practicing. Maybe you're even coming out of it sooner. Once you're ready to do that, to come out of the pose, reach back through Warrior Two, reach back down with both hands on the mat, runner's lunge. Listen up, you can come back to Child's or Downward Dog, or look at your front right foot. And then watch your foot as you heel toe it about halfway down the length of the mat. It's another side plank variation. Left shoulder over left wrist. Take a look at your right knee in line with your right hip. Back left foot is on the outer edge. Stack the shoulders and hips. You can keep your left hand on the hip or reach the arm up, maybe even overhead. Again, steady with that standing palm. If you feel super steady, take your right foot to stack the inner ankles or lift the right leg. A couple more breaths here. Lengthen your spine. Crown away from your heels. A little lift in the chin. Come out of that by looking down. Reach back through both hands, both feet. Walk your dog. You can stay or play. Wave through, inhale, high plank. Again, feel free to lower the knees to Cobra or Chaturanga Dandasana to upward facing dog. Your practice, you decide. Each day can be a little different. Maybe today's different than yesterday or tomorrow. Embrace how you feel right now. Come back to the power of your breath. Okay, you can again lower both knees to step the left foot through to runner's lunge, or step both feet in downward dog. Inhale, left leg only, three-legged dog. You can lift up onto your spider fingers for more space. Step that left foot through. Organize. There's no perfection, just progression. Stack the knee over the heel. Back knees still lifted, back heel still lifted for one more breath. Runner's lunge. And remember, we're going to rotate onto the outer edge of the back foot. You can bring it in closer. Pinky toe edge, plants. Still keeping the knees stacked, front knee over heel, left forearm on left thigh. Right hand can rest for a moment on the hip as you rotate your torso, your shoulders, your hips. Feel the reach into that back foot. Super important. If you feel like it, take your left arm up. Again, if it feels interesting to pull the arm, get more of a reach from the heel to the hip to the shoulder and beyond. Extended side angle. Maybe you're looking up. Take another breath here. Steady, solid in that front left foot. All right, we're going to come up. Reach out through the arms. Vertical spine reach. And then you can, again, straighten the front leg for a breath or two as you wave the arms around. Feel the reach of the lateral left side body. Maybe rebend the knee. You're really reaching into the side body. Take another breath here. You could always take the right arm behind you if that feels better. Again, play around. Decide where the hand placement works for you. Take one more breath here, reversing your warrior. Come out of that slowly. Reach the arms. And then remember, we're going to come back with that left forearm on the thigh. Right hand pause for a moment as you walk your back right foot in closer. So we're shifting our weight. Bring your block or whatever you have about a foot away from your left foot. Again, the practice is about balance. Quite a challenge. So maybe it's just lifting your right foot. Maybe you're coming into your standing half moon. If you come out of the pose sooner, smile, try again. We keep coming back with our breath, smiling and reminding ourselves that it is a practice. Every time we come back to the mat, though, we can refocus on how we're breathing, the spaces that move as we breathe. One more breath here, standing half moon. Press the heel away like you're pressing it onto the wall behind you. Shoulders and hips are stacked. And then trust. Back foot comes down, warrior two, just for a breath. Find length through the legs, the arms, the spine. Inhale and exhale, cartwheel the hands back to the mat. Okay, runner's lunge. Back heel is now facing the back of the mat. Both hands are planted. You can always skip this or look down at your front left foot. Watch it now as you walk it, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, about halfway down the length of the mat. At the same time, the back right foot now is on to the outer edge. Stack the shoulders, the hips. Your standing right hand is planted, root into it. That's what's keeping you steady. Knee in line with hip, left knee, left hip. Maybe left arm reaches up and over. So it's a side plank with that left leg like a kickstand, the bent knee. But if you feel steady, stack the inner ankles or lift the left leg. Again, there are variations. You might wobble, that's okay. Everything is working. Take another beautiful breath here. Feel the inhale in the rib cage, exhale in the belly, and then come back to downward facing dog. Walk your dog. Remember your options. You can stay or play. Wave through high plank. Choose to lower the knees or not. Cobra or upward facing dog. Our back bends. Enjoy that stretch. And then we're going to come down to rest. Guys, everyone lower the knees. Inner edges of the feet together. See if you can bring your seat closer to your heels as you reach your arms back. Forehead lowers. If this doesn't feel right, the knees can come out wider, such as we did in the beginning of the practice. Let's stay here for a few deep breaths. See if you can smooth out the rhythm of your breathing. Again, it's a one-pointed concentration on just our breath. Letting go of your worries. Coming back to that blissful inhale and exhale through the nose. Okay, we're coming up. Take a moment to notice how you feel. You're sitting on your heels. Notice how it feels to be upright. We're going to come to seated. You can come back up to hands and then cross the ankles, the shins behind you, and have a seat. Any way you get to seated is fine. Again, you may want a block if you don't have one at home. Maybe an extra towel or a blanket that you can fold and use as a cushion. We're coming into Baddha Konasana with the feet out wide in front of us and the knees bent like butterfly wings. But take a moment. Stack your ears over your shoulders, over your hips. Get length in the spine. Shoulders pull back and down. Feel the breath in your belly. And then you can use your support now to stack your outer ankles. Again, the knees are bent wide. Line up your heels, your toes, and then line up your ankles, knees, and hips. You can rest your hands wherever they fall comfortably. Maybe stay upright. And just breathe here. Notice the sensation in the outer hips, the inner thighs, the length of the breath in the spine. If you'd like, maybe you're taking a forward fold, bringing your chin in a little closer towards your chest. Imagine you're reaching the top of the head towards the tips of your toes. You don't have to go down too far into a fold to feel something. Once you're feeling sensation, stay and investigate that with breath. You can always rest your chin in your palms or make fists for support if your back of your head feels heavy. Again, you can play around with your hand placement. Maybe the arms reach out further away. Let your shoulders round forward. Let your spine round forward. Where are you feeling sensation? Send the breath there. Try not to bounce. Just let yourself be with your breath. Come out of that slowly when ready. Use your hands to walk closer to you and lift your torso as one long unit. Take a breath here once you're upright. And then just move your blocks out of your way, or whatever you may have used. Hands can come back behind you. Feet are now on the mat, knees bent. And then just drop the knees from side to side. You're leaning back into the weight of the hands. Maybe lift your gaze, your chin. Feel the shoulders drop back. Invite the shoulders to move from side to side. Okay, feet are nice and wide. Make sure you've got that going on. And then drop both feet to the left. Both knees to the left. You can walk your heels in a little closer. And then your left hand stays planted. Right arm reaches around beyond that left knee. You can walk both hands out in that same direction towards your left knee and beyond. Feel the length in the spine. If you want more, maybe a little bit more of a twist, take yourself to reach further back. You can come down onto that left forearm, reaching right arm. Reach it back. Maybe even take it towards the mat behind you, even on spider fingers. Take another couple breaths here. There should be no pain in the lower back. Toes pull in toward the knees. Feel that gentle twist. When you're ready to come out of that, use your hands and walk them towards your left hip. Left hand stays planted. If it feels okay in the knees, try it out. Press into that left hand, shoulder over the wrist. Come up onto the knees, lift your seat, and reach your right arm back. Feel it through the right side body. If you'd like to, you can wave the top arm from side to side, but do it gracefully, fluidly, with the breath. All right, come out of that slowly, lower your seat. Come back to center with your chest, your shoulders, moving mindfully. Feet back on the mat, nice and wide, knees again bent, hands behind you. Just drop the knees from side to side. Maybe you're just resting the knees in. The shoulders can move in the opposite direction of the knees. Just feel the reach through the spine. All right, feet wide, knees bent. Drop them in the other direction to the right. You can walk the heels in closer. And then we take this time the left arm reaching towards the right knee and beyond. Take a moment here. You want to take the hand further back, instead behind you rather than out to the side. And we'll just take the forearm down so we can reach into the left arm. Feel the length through the crown, away from your tailbone, lengthening the spine. And then come up onto the hands, walk them towards your hip. Solid through the hand. The knees are okay. Try it out. Lift your seat, reach top arm back. And then imagine that you're moving in that ocean-sounding breath that you're creating. The length of the arm moving like a length of seaweed on the ocean floor. Feel it in the space around your heart, and then come back down nice and slowly. You can again drop the knees from side to side. We are going to come down to rest. Find your reach on your mat, make space if you need to. If you have a ponytail or a bun, move that out of your way so that you can find length in the back of the neck and all along the spine. Then we'll just hug our knees in, gently rock from side to side. Notice the four corners of your shoulders and your hips, your four corners of your torso, the shoulders and hips rooting down. Pull the toes back toward the knees. And then just a little gentle stretch here. Drop both knees to the right, reaching your left arm out to the left. And just take a moment to stack the knees. They don't have to come all the way down to the floor. Good. We'll come back through center with both knees, and right away we'll move in the opposite direction. Right arm reaches out, knees bent and stacked in the opposite direction. Pause for a breath. Maybe you're looking skyward. Should feel good in the lower back, and then come back through center with the knees. Feel the reaching action through the lower back on your mat. All right, so we're going to come into bridge pose. Again, you may have a block or a pillow, something nice and firm beneath you. Plant the feet. The knees are stacked over the heels, knees pointing in the same direction as the toes. If you do have a block, try it out. Bring it between your knees or inner thighs and use that for extra stability. We press the hands down and lift our seat, our hips. So this is our bridge pose. The head is rooting down, but feel the weight more in the shoulders and the back of the neck. Reach into your feet. Try to align your hips with your knees as you lift your sternum, your pubic bone toward the sky. Press strongly into the hands of the feet and see if you can squeeze the knees in, even if you don't have a yoga block. All right, lower nice and slowly. You can come up and do that again, or try it out. Take your block or whatever you may have and bring it beneath your lower back so that your seat's kind of hanging off the block. You can adjust the block to any height setting that feels good for you. Maybe you're staying here. This can feel wonderful. Or reach one leg out at a time. Sort of a supported bridge pose. Take a few deep breaths here, guys. There should be a little lift in the chin, as though you can wedge a small mango between the chin and the chest. Feel the throat soft. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Maybe you're closing your eyes as you take a few more deep breaths here. Breathing from your belly to your chest and back. When you're ready to come out of that, 1 foot plants at a time, move your block out of your way and lower your seat nice and easy once more. Hug the knees in if you'd like, or we'll come right away into our lying pigeon. So the right knee is bent, outer right ankle on the top of the left thigh. Use your right hand to guide the knee further away. Pull the toes in. If you want, lift left foot and thread the hands through so that you can reach around to the back of your thigh or your right shin bone. Your left shin bone. The closer you hug that left knee in, the more you'll feel the stretch in the outer right hip. Keep your lower back on the mat as best you can. The 4 corners of the torso, shoulders and hips keep rooting down. Take another breath here. Pull those toes actively back toward the knees. And then we're going to come into our twist, just with the right knee bent, left leg long. So right leg can stay bent at the knee or reach it out through the extension, pressing out through the foot. Right arm reaches around. Left hand rests on the outer right thigh. Now take a moment to look in a direction that feels good for the neck. Maybe you're just keeping your gaze skyward. See if you can stay here. Your feet are active. Press into the heels as though you're standing on the floor. All right, come out of that slowly. Readjust your lower back once more so it's safely on the mat. You can stay here with the knees tented in or give yourself a little hug in once more, still keeping lower back on the mat. All right, second side, lying pigeon. Both feet planted, knees bent. Left ankle this time on the top of the right thigh. Use your left hand to guide the knee. You can stay right here. If you're feeling it in the hip already, keep the toes active. That will protect the knee and the ankle. Breathe into the shoulders, the belly. Maybe reach the hands through. So you can grab the back of the right thigh or the shin bone. The closer you bring your right knee in, the more you'll feel that in the left hip. Feet are pulled in. Maybe you're gently rocking slowly, just till you feel something. Once you feel something, pause there and investigate that. Breathe into it. And then we're going to release the legs. Left leg reaches across the body. If you've got a block, you can use that for support. Pull the toes back again. The left knee can bend, or you can reach out through both legs. Left arm reaches out to the side. Stack the hips, but keep the shoulders as best you can on the mat. Maybe you're looking in the opposite direction. You can look to the right. Maybe you're looking more towards the ceiling, keeping the back of the neck long and neutral. A couple more breaths here. Shoulders pull away from the ears. All right, come back when you're ready. Lower back on the mat. Shoulders and hips on the mat nice and safely. Hug the knees in. If you want to, try it out. Happy baby. A little more reach into the inner thigh. Bring the knees out wide. Take the arms to the inside of the bent knees so as not to restrict movement, and grab the outer edges of your feet. And try this out. Lift your heels toward the sky, lining your heels with your knees. You're actively pulling your feet towards you, so feeling the top of the thigh bone plug into the hip. Maybe gently rocking. Keep the lower back on the mat nice and safely. Again, feel the reach in the hips and thighs. Feel that support of your breath along the spine. All right, feet come back together, just like we did seated. Line your toes, your heels. If you want to use something to support the outer knees or thighs, you can. There should be a curve in the lower back, a gentle curve. And then you can rest your hands on your center. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. See if you can stay here for a couple breaths. Supta Baddha Konasana. This can feel wonderful for Savasana, especially if you have support. Or feel free to take your time now and lengthen. Imagine you're finding a little bit more reach through the legs and the arms. Surrender now into complete rest, Savasana. This is your meditation. Focus on your breath. Imagine it's a beautiful dancer meandering through the body. So beautiful, you can't keep your eyes off of it. Enjoy. Stay here as long as you like.